Community Highlights. Another local exclusive from Southeastern Michigan's news and information station, MonroeCountyRadio.com.
Welcome to Bobbing Around Monroe with host Bobb Vergiels. Bobbing Around Monroe is a public affairs feature of Monroe County Radio and is brought to you by Jones for Men in the heart of downtown Monroe and Infinity Spa and Salon, located at 6000 North Monroe Street at the corner of Netto Road. Now, here's Bobb Vergiels.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bobbing Around Monroe. Our weekly show is a lively look at the lives and times of people in Monroe County. I'm your host, Bobb Vergiels, and Bobbing Around Monroe is brought to you by Jones for Men in downtown Monroe. And speaking of downtown Monroe, for the last number of months, every time I'd get to the studio, I'd look at the second floor of the building which once housed KB Drugs years ago, and there was a sign that says book publishing. And I told myself, one of these days I'm going to call that number, not because I'm going to write a book, because I'm not, but because I want to have who's ever on the other side of that sign on my show. I called the number, and Stephen Hill from ASA Publishing is the one who answered, and he's our guest today. Stephen, great to see you again.
Hey, it's great to see you again, Bob.
And,
and
I didn't realize that was you. Stephen and I have served on a board a long time ago together, and yes. I remember you had an office on the ground on Front
floor.
Street here,
Yes.
and I used to walk by and watch you doing what you do. But ASA Publishing, tell us about your business.
Book publishing, what was funniest is that nobody knew that there was a publishing house here in Monroe all these years. Mm-hmm. Okay, we've been, over 17 years here. I've been doing it for 28 years, but teaching and everything. But it was interesting that, because we handle almost all different types of books, and except for harmful ones, mm-hmm. And we review these books. But the funny thing is that we not only handle from national and international, but nobody knew that the publishing house, with our reviews and everything, was here in Monroe, and we're getting ratings and awards for it, and from the IBPA. Yeah.
Oh, what is IBPA?
The International Book Publishing Association. Okay. Monroe News did an article on us because they were fascinated. Like, how did y'all do this without being noticed? And that's because we had started from the, remember that right. We started from the Monroe Realty's building, mm-hmm. that storefront. Right. And from the storefront to the one with the arch.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Yes,
okay.
in the back. And then from there, when we now have that second floor.
And you can't miss your office because you've got signs on, 6 windows, 7 windows?
Yes, the whole second floor.
Yeah.
It's our office, the whole second floor.
So someone wants to write a book.
Okay.
How does it go? Do they come to you? Do they call you? Do they?
They do both, actually.
Okay.
Because I say,
take us through that.
National and international. What is it's very easy. Okay. The only thing that I'm gonna let you know is everything that we do is traditional. We're the first in history that you're allowed to hire a publishing house. There is none like it.
Really?
That's what was interesting. Yes. In other words, you want to write a book. Okay. Usually, and it's not self-publishing. We're a hybrid. We're one of the first three, mm-hmm. For the past 20 years when we first started. They didn't know what it was. They were thinking it was self-publishing and said no, because you're hiring a team. Self-publishing right. is where, when you're paying for something and you don't get editing or proofreading, the core of being a publishing house, you have to have editing and proofreading. Okay, that's what they're supposed to supply. Right. You're supposed to have graphics, all that. That's what they supply. Publishing, not just publishing, but the ISBN, global distribution. These things are the core front for the publishing house. Without that, that's not a publishing house. It's more like a glorified book printer. And that's why stores have a problem when they see all these books that are not edited. Right. Because nobody can afford these ridiculous editing prices in a self-publishing area where they thought it was a publishing house, but actually isn't.
I've read several books that have been self-published, and oh my golly, I'm not an English teacher, but if I was an English teacher, that might have been a C+.
Yes, and that's what makes it so scary. Yes, and here we offer all those. And editing is like anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 to put down. Who's going to be able to afford all that?
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
True. So here, we have the team. We have the whole team, just like traditional.
Right.
The only thing different between traditional and ours is that not only that we changed it to where they get a 60% royalty, but and that's the highest on the planet, but also that because the writers market says it's 4 to 7%. Okay.
That's what
that's
the
insane. That's
market
like less than $1.
Okay.
If you think about it, if you had the math, and they say over 1 million books sold, right? But you don't hear no yo-lay-lew. You don't hear nothing about an author saying, hey, I got $1 million, because think about it. $1, if you give an author, just out of 1 million books sold,
right.
just $1 out of a retail price, which we'll get into that.
Right.
Because there's no such animal as getting royalties over retail. But $1 per out of the $1 million, right?
Right.
And they're selling it at $14 or $15, that author will be a millionaire. But for some reason, they're not. And I was sitting there going, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. How do you sell 1 million books sold? But
for $14.95 a piece.
Yes, for $14.95, and the author is still starving. That's because they get the advance, and they quick that $50,000, which advance is more like a loan.
Right.
And then they sell off their rights for anywhere from 2 to 3 years. And then after they're done and they get bled, then they turn around, the traditional turn around and give them back the manuscript. And they're like, what am I going to do with this? See how it goes?
Yeah.
With us, that's because they don't own their rights to their work. They sold it. What we do is allow the author to have their rights, okay, as traditional, 400% rights, give them 60% royalties to publisher compensation net. We tell them, we actually teach them, like a parent publishing corporation, we teach them how the publishing process works.
So most of the authors probably come to you and have no clue, right? I mean, they just wrote a book. They don't know the other stuff.
No, and some of them have baffled. I mean, lately we've been getting a lot of other publishing houses are actually calling us up to hand us over their. I don't know, it sounds weird, doesn't it? Their clients, because they don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, it's madness. But the whole point about this is that is that because we allowed to open the doorway where they can have editing, proofreading, all that's included. Okay, so when they hire us, good. Oh, continue. Okay, yes. When they hire us, they say for a basic package. Okay.
Sure.
They get all that included. They keep all their rights. They're hiring us to do a job, and not only they get the editing, proofreading.
You print them as well. You take care of the printing as well.
Everything. They get to publish 2 books, not just 1. So yes, we actually, as an actual real publishing house, not only we credit it with the Better Business Bureau, but we're reputable now among the planet. And we have published Bibles. Believe that or not.
This is fascinating. People keep saying, I've had a very interesting life. I'm 70 years old, had a very interesting life. You should write a book. Don't want to write a book. But every once in a while, since someone says that, I keep thinking, I wonder, maybe I should sit down with my friend Stephen here and see what I have to do. But Stephen Hill from ASA Publishing, we're going to be right back. We have to break now for a word from Jones for Men, one of your neighbors downtown Monroe. But we'll be right back after this. Jones for Men, Monroe's premier men's clothing store in downtown Monroe since 1993, has a summer clearance sale that you don't want to miss. When you shop Jones for Men, you'll enjoy the warm, friendly atmosphere. Plus, you'll save 25 to 50% off on all great looks of summer, including long-sleeve sports shirts, polos, and shoes. Jones for Men also offers custom tailoring at no extra charge. Don't forget, fall weddings are right around the corner, and Jones for Men is the formal wear headquarters. Shop Jones for Men today at 10 East Front Street in beautiful downtown Monroe. Jones for Men, Monroe's premier men's clothing store. And we're back. Stephen Hill from ASA Publishing Company in downtown Monroe. If you ever want to look him up, he's in the second floor of the building on the southeast corner of Monroe and East Front Street, and you'll see his signs. And how did you get in the publishing business in the first place? Because I know you're an Air Force veteran.
Yes, thank you. I've been actually, if you remember the bomb in the commissary in 1985, that I was over on the other side with Laura, Germany. A lot of our, and it's in the Air Force. Okay, and during the bomb in the commissary, a lot of our troops got killed. It was crazy. But they called it peacetime, but we were over there during that terrorist moment.
Oh, yeah.
It was wartime to us.
Oh, yeah.
I was glad to get back to the United States, but oh my gosh. I mean, you have a M16 rifle in one hand. For me, as an electrician, you know, an F-15s, and a multimeter in the other. Oh my gosh, that's what say. See, a lot of people don't know that. And then our AMU in 1992, I think it was 1992, went to 58th AMU went to Project Desert Storm.
Okay.
Yes. So we've had our share in the actual war during peacetime before we went to war. Before the 9/11.
Got a question.
Yes.
How does the contact with you begin? Does someone call you and they come in and they hand you 600 pages typewritten, or how?
They can.
What's the no? If someone's listening and they say, you know what, I want to write a book and I want to talk to Stephen Hill about this. What's the first meeting like? What do they come in with?
Enjoyable, and they would love it because I call it the sandbox, and I want them to feel comfortable because reading, writing, all that in literary is supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're studying, it's supposed to be fun. So when they contact us, actually, they can call up, they can call us, or email us, or just walk in.
What your phone number is?
734. Matter of fact, 734-212-6563. But if they want to contact me directly on the desk, and it's okay, it's fine because that's administration's, they can contact me at 734-212-6613. That's my desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned an email that you have as well?
And I'm the senior publisher.
What's that?
I'm the senior publisher.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, the books that you take care of, do you edit them yourself? Is that
No, we have a full team, a full staff.
Okay.
I forgot to say email. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
They can use. You know what? I want you to use my primary because if I say Mr. Hill at asapublishingcorporation.com, it's kind of long.
Yeah.
So just use either it would be asapublishingcorporation@gmail.com or asapublisher@gmail.com.
So a bunch of ways to get a hold of you.
Yes. Instead of writing a long one out.
Yeah. You, as part of your job, do you edit? You say you have a whole team, but is editing part of what you do?
Oh, me per se, myself?
Yeah.
Actually, I check up behind the editors, proofreaders, as well as other publishers, because I look at this. The first thing is when they send a manuscript.
Right.
Okay. When you're hiring us, I like to know what the contents is inside that book.
Right.
We just don't publish any old book. I don't care what amount of money you give us. We don't publish it like that. Okay. So we have our own reputation to uphold.
Right. Oh, sure.
So when you're hiring us, you show us your manuscript. Whether your manuscript, you send it to us through email in a Word document, or you can start off with PDF just to be on a safe measurement.
Okay.
PDF, and we review it. If we like it, then we will call you, respond back, and we take it from there. And number one thing is not only about hiring us, but also we give you a contractual agreement. Because one thing about a contract agreement, which is a mutual agreement, okay, is that you are authorizing us to publish your work. You never let there's a time limit even in the contract, so you never let no publishing house publish your work without authorization.
Okay.
And you also check the time limit of that contract, okay, because if it exceeds the time limit, then they're liable for lawsuit. I'm also a legal assistant here in Monroe. But yes, there's a time limit on those contracts. Remember I said about the with traditional?
Yes.
And after you get when I shared earlier, it was about the probably on break. It was talking about the after 1 year or 2 years. After the first year, that million thing, the $1 million and all that, and they didn't realize how come they didn't get $1 million. And I said, well, actually, you know what? If you just hypothetically, with 50,000 is being generous, and it's 4 to 7% of market or writer's market, say give them $100,000, advance, for their book, their manuscript, the $100,000. But in reality, you just paid them $900,000 for a contract that's going to last them 3 years, and you only got paid for 1 year. Then after 3 years, they give it back. So the thing about it is, when it goes into the self-publishing industry, and a lot of them kept getting themselves in a situation like that. And oh man, there's some other companies out there that's crazy. What happens is that they don't let you know when the contract ends, and they keep it out there and keep it out there. And that's illegal because you did not authorize them to
Sure.
extenuate your contract.
Yeah, because
unless they
that's
have-
your intellectual property, not theirs,
Exactly.
correct?
Very good. Yes, yes. And that's another thing. I'm glad you said that. We have on our website at www.asapublishingcorporation.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to teach you everything. The things you know. We have publishing law on there. Okay, everything that you could think of that deals with publishing, all the way from writing, grammar, all that is on our website. So even if you didn't publish with us, our website is designed to teach you what goes on in publishing. It teach you grammar. It teach you everything.
I would
Yes.
imagine because most people come to you for the first time, right? I mean, this is the first time they've ever approached a publisher with a book. Is that am I reading that right?
Well, there's those that we have people now. We have clients now that actually they're new or they're seasoned. So we get both hands. We get those that's
Okay.
published or those that are new, want to publish a book, and we get those that have published several books. And they're like, you know what, they're done whatever's going on there, and they bring their books to us, and actually we republish it. Now the thing was just a few weeks ago we did another. That's what I'm saying. We had another company who came to us. And not just individuals, a company with their clients, and we re-edit their books because
my
I
gosh.
pointed out the things that were wrong in the
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
And yes, and that's my job. You know, then I assign them to the different editors that we have, editors and proofreaders, and our editor proofreaders got to take a test. But when they come to
Oh, I imagine they got to know
yes.
grammar and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, yes, sir, definitely.
Stephen Hill, we could talk for the rest of the night. What an interesting look into the publishing business. Stephen Hill from ASA Publishing. And say your phone number once more in case someone has to get a hold of you.
Or they can contact me directly, 734-212-6613.
Stephen, thank you very much. Great to see you again. We
You too,
haven't
Bob.
seen each other in years. And,
Yeah, I know.
and to be able to kind of get that inside look at publishing. Thank you. We appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome.
And yes, indeed, there's a major publisher, and they're right here in Monroe, ASA Publishing. We'd like to thank you for joining us today for Bobbing Around Monroe, a service of Monroe County Radio sponsored by Jones for Men in downtown Monroe. Now, we'll be back next week, and we'll be joined by another interesting guest when once again we go bobbing around Monroe.
Bobbing Around Monroe with host Bobb Vergiels is a public affairs feature of Monroe County Radio and is sponsored by Jones for Men in the heart of downtown Monroe and Infinity Spa and Salon, located at 6000 North Monroe Street at the corner of Netto Road. You can listen every Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. for another edition of Bobbing Around Monroe.